Ever get that feeling kind of like a little volcano erupting in your chest? Ugh, it's the worst.
Yeah, acid reflux. Super common, though.
It is. So, well, there's always a pharmaceutical route. I'm kind of curious what nature has to offer.
Right.
Are there any natural remedies that can help?
Well, that's what we're diving into today.
Okay, cool.
We're looking at this article from swara.com, and they highlight 7 herbs.
7, okay.
All backed by research, by the way,
Nice.
that could actually help soothe that burning sensation.
I like it, taming the fire with plants.
Exactly. And what's really interesting is, a lot of these remedies, you probably already have them in your kitchen.
Oh, really?
Like take ginger, for instance.
Oh, yeah, ginger.
It's been used for centuries, right, as a digestive aid.
Mm-hmm.
And now science is actually starting to catch up to that ancient wisdom.
Okay, so ginger. I get that it's good for an upset stomach, but why is it so powerful when it comes to acid reflux specifically?
So the key here is a compound called gingerol.
It's gingerol, okay.
And it's a potent anti-inflammatory, but it also acts as a natural antacid.
Oh, interesting.
So it helps to neutralize that excess stomach acid that's causing, all the trouble.
So it kind of soaks it up like a sponge.
Well, it's a little more, I guess, dynamic than that.
Okay.
Gingerol, it actually blocks the production of excess acid in the stomach.
Oh.
And it also encourages the release of substances that can neutralize existing acid. So it's kind of like a 2-pronged attack against that burning you're feeling.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
So it's not just putting out the fire, it's preventing the fire from even starting.
Exactly.
Pretty amazing for just a little root,
I know, right?
Huh?
And there was a 2011 study published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology.
Okay.
They found that ginger reduced symptoms of dyspepsia, which is, essentially indigestion, often caused by high stomach acid. And it reduced the symptoms by 25% in participants.
25%? That's pretty significant.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say I want to try this ginger thing out. Do I just chomp on a raw piece of ginger?
You could, but maybe a little more palatable.
Yeah.
Fresh ginger juice or a nice soothing cup of ginger tea might be more enjoyable.
Okay, sold. Fresh ginger juice it is.
Good choice.
Now, I've also heard turmeric is good. Another one of those inflammation fighters. Is that something that's good for acid reflux too?
Oh, absolutely. Turmeric, it contains curcumin.
Curcumin.
Which is a compound with, again, powerful anti-inflammatory properties. And remember, inflammation, often at the root of that burning sensation.
Right. So curcumin is kind of like that fire extinguisher, putting out the inflammation at the source.
Yeah, I like that analogy. And a 2015 study in the Journal of Clinical Gastroenterology,
Okay.
they actually found that turmeric was effective in reducing symptoms of GERR, which is, kind of a more chronic, severe form of acid reflux.
Wait, so turmeric can help with GERD?
Yeah.
Does that mean it would help with general acid reflux too?
That's, it's a reasonable assumption.
Okay.
But of course, more research is always being done.
Of course, right.
But the key takeaway here is that turmeric, like ginger, it's not just a tasty spice.
Yeah.
It could be really potentially powerful therapeutic tool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. You can add it to meals, or there's turmeric capsules
Oh, okay.
if you want a more concentrated dose.
All right, turmeric's going on my shopping list.
Good.
Okay, this next one, I'm kind of surprised by this one. Aloe vera. I always think of that for sunburns, but for acid reflux, how does that even work?
Well, aloe vera is it's a pretty amazing plant.
Yeah.
It's great for soothing skin, of course. But it can also work wonders for an irritated stomach lining.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like it creates a protective barrier against all that harsh stomach acid.
So it's doing more than just neutralizing the acid.
Well, it's also shielding the stomach from, further damage.
Oh.
Precisely. And actually, a 2010 study in the World Journal of Gastroenterology showed that aloe vera can help heal stomach tissues that have already been damaged by acid.
Oh, wow.
So it's not just a temporary fix.
Right.
It could actually help contribute to long-term healing.
That's amazing. So if I'm going to use aloe vera for acid reflux, what's the bad way? What do I do?
So look for pure aloe vera juice without any added sugars or artificial ingredients. We want that real deal.
Okay. Got it. Pure aloe vera juice. Now, on to something that might surprise some people, basil.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I love basil in my pesto, but I never thought of it as something that could help with acid reflux.
Well, basil is kind of a multitasker, I guess you could say, when it comes to acid reflux.
Okay.
It has anti-inflammatory properties, but it can also reduce stress. And, stress is a major trigger
Oh, absolutely.
for acid reflux for a lot of people.
Yeah, if I'm stressed, my stomach is like the first thing to go.
Oh, yeah. Very common connection. And actually, a 2011 study in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine found that basil extract can lower stomach acid levels, specifically in people who are stressed.
So it's almost like it's helping regulate that mind-body connection that can trigger the acid reflux.
Exactly.
That's fascinating. Okay, so I need more basil in my life. What's the best way? What do I do?
Well, adding fresh basil leaves to dishes is always a good option. Or you can try brewing basil tea.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I'm already thinking about a nice, calming, basil-infused dinner.
Perfect.
All right, what's next on our list?
So another popular remedy, peppermint.
Peppermint.
Yeah, it's known for easing, digestive discomfort. And many people find it helpful for acid reflux. But there's a bit of a catch.
There's always a catch.
I know, right?
I've heard peppermint can actually make acid reflux worse. Is that true?
There is some truth to that. While peppermint can be soothing for some people, it can actually worsen G. aridity symptoms in others because of its muscle-relaxing effects.
Okay.
It can relax the muscle that keeps stomach acid from flowing back up into the esophagus, which can aggravate G. aridity.
So it's kind of a gamble. Some people get relief, some people get more reflux.
It really depends on the person and the severity of their symptoms. However, there was a 2014 study in the Journal of Clinical Gastroenterology that found peppermint was effective in reducing bloating and indigestion.
Okay.
Which are, symptoms associated with acid reflux.
So it might be worth trying.
Yeah.
But, proceed with caution.
Exactly.
What's a safe way to kind of experiment with that?
Well, a cup of peppermint tea after a meal might be a good starting point. Just, pay attention to how you feel.
Yeah, listen to your body.
Right.
Okay. We're on a roll here. What other natural remedies do we have?
All right. So let's talk about honey.
Honey?
Yeah, for acid reflux.
I thought honey was just for, sore throats and putting in my tea.
Honey is much more than just a sweetener. It's got this unique combination of soothing and antibacterial properties that can be really helpful for acid reflux.
I had no idea. So how does it help with acid reflux?
So honey's anti-inflammatory action, it helps to calm that inflamed stomach lining, which then reduces irritation and discomfort. And the antibacterial properties, those can help combat, any underlying infections.
Oh, interesting.
That might be contributing to your digestive woes.
So it's like a 2-for-1.
Exactly. Calming the inflammation, fighting off any bad bacteria. And a 2013 study, this one's in the Journal of Medicinal Food, showed honey's protective effect against stomach damage. So it could be really effective for preventing and managing acid reflux.
Wow, I am convinced. So what's the best way to use honey? Do I just eat it straight from the jar?
You could, but usually 1 to 2 tablespoons of pure raw honey. Daily is a good starting point. You can add it to a warm water, tea, or just enjoy it straight off the spoon. But raw honey is key.
Okay, raw honey. Going on the shopping list. All right, on to our last herbal remedy for this deep dive.
Okay.
Bay leaf. So I always have bay leaves in my pantry, but I pretty much just use them in soups.
Right.
So how do they help with acid reflux?
Well, bay leaf, it's another one of those, culinary heroes with these kind of hidden medicinal talents.
Okay.
And it's actually known for reducing excess stomach acid production, which of course is a key factor in acid reflux.
So it's not just soothing the symptoms, it's helping control that overproduction of stomach acid.
That's right. And a 2011 study published in Pharmacognosy magazine found that bay leaf has anti-ulcer properties. So it can actually help protect the stomach lining.
Huh. Bay leaf is full of surprises.
I know, right?
So what's the best way to use it? Can I just munch on a dried bay leaf?
Well, you could, but adding bay leaves to your cooking, as you normally would, or brewing a cup of bay leaf tea might be a little more enjoyable.
Okay, so many delicious possibilities.
Right.
This has been so enlightening, this whole deep dive into the world of herbal remedies. It's amazing to think about how much power plants actually have.
Yeah. It is pretty amazing. And what's fascinating is how each of these herbs offers a unique way of managing acid reflux naturally. So we've got, ginger and turmeric tackling inflammation, aloe vera soothing and protecting, basil combating stress, peppermint easing discomfort, honey calming and fighting bacteria, and bay leaf, controlling that acid production.
Wow, what an arsenal
Right.
of natural remedies.
It's incredible.
All right, before we get too carried away, though, it's important to remember that this is like a starting point.
Absolutely. Further research and, consulting with a healthcare professional is always recommended,
Right.
especially if you're dealing with chronic or severe symptoms.
Right. Yeah. Always a good idea to talk to your doctor before starting any new treatment, especially if you have, pre-existing conditions or you're taking medications. So before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'm kind of curious, with so many natural options available, could incorporating these herbs be a first step towards a more holistic approach to digestive health? What do you think?
That is a fantastic question, and one we are going to dive into in part 2.
Okay.
So stay tuned.
Welcome back. So we just went over some pretty incredible herbs that can help with acid reflux.
Yeah.
But, true well-being is not just about taking a pill or drinking tea.
Yeah.
It's about a holistic approach. So let's talk more about that.
I'm glad you brought that up because I think a holistic approach is where things get really interesting. It's not just about treating the symptoms.
Right.
It's about understanding the root causes and addressing them on multiple levels. So, lifestyle, diet, stress management, even emotional well-being.
Okay, so it's like a whole body approach, not just focusing on the stomach itself. So what would that look like practically?
Well, let's start with diet. Certain foods are known to be acid reflux triggers. Spicy foods, fatty foods, citrus fruits, caffeine.
Ooh, yeah, too much coffee or a really spicy meal and my stomach lets me know.
Exactly. It's really about paying attention to what triggers you and making adjustments accordingly. And then there's stress. We talked about how stress can make acid reflux worse. So incorporating, relaxation techniques like deep breathing, meditation, or even yoga, those can be game changers.
Yeah, I've heard yoga is good for digestion.
Yeah.
All that twisting and turning helps things move along.
It definitely helps. And yoga not only helps with stress, but, it promotes healthy digestion through movement and all the different postures. And then there's also emotional well-being, because emotions like anxiety, anger, those can trigger physiological changes that contribute to acid reflux.
Wow, so it's like this mind-body loop.
Mm-hmm.
My stress levels affect my stomach, and then my upset stomach makes me even more stressed.
Exactly. It can be a tough cycle to break.
Yeah.
But addressing those emotional stressors, through therapy, journaling, or other healthy coping mechanisms, that can have a huge impact on your digestive health.
Okay, so if I'm understanding this right, a holistic approach is about incorporating those herbs we talked about, along with being mindful of what I eat, managing my stress levels,
Right.
and really addressing any underlying emotional issues that might be contributing to the acid reflux.
You got it. It's about, taking control of your health and exploring natural solutions that work with your body, not against it.
I like that.
Yeah.
I love this entire deep dive. It's been really eye-opening. I feel inspired to actually make some changes.
That's great to hear. And remember, small steps can lead to big results.
Yeah.
Even just incorporating 1 or 2 of the herbs or, making a few lifestyle tweaks, that can make a noticeable difference.
Yeah. You're right. It's not about being perfect. It's about making progress. What are some really simple things people can do to support their digestive health?
Well, one thing that can help is eating smaller, more frequent meals,
Okay.
because that can prevent your stomach from getting too full
Yeah.
and putting pressure on the esophageal sphincter.
Right.
And also, try to avoid eating too late at night. Give your body time to digest before you lie down.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed that if I eat too close to bedtime, I'm way more likely to have reflux.
It's a common thing. And just remember the power of, just paying attention to your body.
Right.
Notice what foods trigger you, how stress affects your digestion, what makes you feel good. It's about becoming more in tune with your own needs.
Awareness is key.
Exactly.
I'm feeling much more informed and empowered to tackle this acid reflux naturally.
That's great.
Any final words of wisdom?
I would just say, embrace the journey. Don't be afraid to experiment with different herbs, different lifestyle changes, and find what works best for you.
Embrace the journey.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, stay tuned for part 3, where we'll answer some common questions about using herbal remedies for acid reflux. We'll be right back. Welcome back to our deep dive into natural remedies for acid reflux.
It's been quite a journey so far.
Well, it really has. We've covered a lot of ground, all those incredible herbs. But I'm sure our listeners probably have some questions.
Oh, I'm sure they do. Lots of things to consider, right? Especially when you're first exploring these kinds of natural approaches.
Right. So let's jump into some of those common questions.
Sounds good. I'm happy to tackle those. What do you have for me?
All right. First up, dosage. How much of these herbs should someone actually take? Is there like a magic number?
Oh, I wish it were that easy.
Right.
Unfortunately, there's no one-size-fits-all answer when it comes to dosage. It really depends. It depends on the specific herb, the form you're using, whether it's tea or an extract or a capsule. And then, of course, individual factors, like body weight and how severe your symptoms are.
So how do you figure out what's right for you? Just start chugging ginger juice and hope for the best?
No, I wouldn't recommend that.
Okay, good to know.
A much safer approach is to start low and go slow.
Okay.
Begin with a small dose and then gradually increase it if you need to. But, and this is important, pay attention to how your body responds.
Right.
And of course, talking to your healthcare provider or even a qualified herbalist is always a good idea. They can help guide you.
Got it. Slow and steady.
Exactly.
Now, another question that always comes up is potential side effects. I mean, these are natural, so are they completely safe for everyone?
Well, while these herbs are generally considered safe, when used appropriately,
Right.
It's important to remember that even with natural remedies, there can be side effects or interactions with certain medications.
That makes sense. Mother Nature is powerful.
She is.
So it's always good to be cautious. What are some common side effects that people should keep an eye out for?
So it really varies depending on the herb. Ginger, for example, it's great for many people, but for some, it can cause a little heartburn.
Oh, the irony.
I know.
We're using it for heartburn and it can cause heartburn.
Yeah, it can also cause a bit of an upset stomach for some people. Turmeric in high doses can thin the blood.
Okay.
So that's something to watch out for, especially if you're on blood thinners. And peppermint, as we talked about earlier, can sometimes make GER worse.
Right.
Because of the muscle relaxing effects.
Okay, so it's all about being mindful, really paying attention to how your body's reacting. Are there any groups of people who should be extra careful with these herbs?
Oh, absolutely. Pregnant women, breastfeeding women, people with bleeding disorders, anyone taking blood thinning medications. And, if you have any pre-existing health conditions, it's always best to talk to your doctor before starting anything new.
Always a good reminder. Better safe than sorry.
Right.
Now, one last question. How long does it take for these herbs to, work their magic?
That's a good question.
Is it instant or is it more gradual?
It's another one of those it depends kind of answers.
Right.
Because it really depends on the individual and, how severe their symptoms are. Some people might find relief within a few days or weeks. Others might need to use the herbs consistently, for a longer period of time to see results.
So patience is key.
Absolutely. Don't get discouraged if you don't see changes right away. Just be consistent. Keep that holistic approach in mind. And often that's the key to long-term relief.
It's about working with the body, not against it.
Exactly. It's about working with nature. Nature has its own rhythms.
Right.
It's not about instant solutions.
Well, this has been an absolutely fantastic deep dive. We've learned about 7 powerful herbs. We've talked about the science behind them, explored the whole idea of a holistic approach to digestive health, and answered some really important questions.
It's been a pleasure exploring all of this with you. It's so fascinating, isn't it? Nature is just full of healing potential.
It really is. And it's so empowering to know that we have these natural tools, these allies, to help us feel better.
Absolutely.
So to all our listeners out there, we encourage you to keep exploring, talk to your healthcare provider, and see what works for you. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep diving deep into this amazing world around us.